All right, so we're back here on another Couch Coach Live Sunday sit down, season 1, episode 6, and it'll be a part of our NBA bubble preview. I got my good friend Gerald from the Lakers Fast Break podcast. What's going on, Gerald?
Not much. I'm thankful that I'm not in my own bubble, but I'm just truly thankful for being here. I appreciate you taking the time for having me on the show. And I'll tell you what, it's just been so gracious. And we were just off air. We were talking about all the tremendous response all of us sports podcasters and broadcasters are giving each other. It's just great to see. And I think we're all just excited for NBA basketball just around the corner. I can reach it. I can almost touch it. My friend.
Absolutely. And man, so give us some insight on the Lakers Fast Break podcast.
Well, I'll tell you what, thank you for asking me for that. It is the Lakers Fast Break podcast. We cover, yes, the Lakers. We have Lakers-centric podcasts. We also as well, and good afternoon to you as well, Jeff. I want to go ahead and say thank you for everybody listening and watching to your shows and also our shows as well, the Lakers Fast Break podcast, which you can get anywhere you get your podcasts. We talk about, obviously, there's Lakers-centric podcasts, but there's also general NBA podcasts. I have a ton of those, and a lot of NBA draft insiders come by the show, and they talk not only just regular basketball stuff, but they do go in depth, really in depth on the NBA draft. So if you're looking for that entire mix of the basketball scene, where we talk about the bubble, the playoffs, the season, the Lakers, as all the stuff that they're doing, the draft, who do you like, who do you not like, the future of the NBA, all that 9 yards, head over to the Lakers Fast Break podcast, wherever you get your podcast. I just truly appreciate it if you did. And also the Lakers Fast Break podcast also plays after the initial run. It does play later in the week on our Pop Culture Cosmos, channel as well. And it's just so great to have, so many different people out there in the sports world coming on the show. And we cannot thank enough to you and everybody else that wants to be a part of it.
Yeah, definitely appreciate it. Definitely appreciate you sitting down with us on this great Sunday. And definitely huge shout out to you. Appreciate you, Jeff, for hitting us up. So what are your thoughts on just the bubble in its whole, in the collective sense?
Well, I mean, it's when you look at it from, I wish I would have got my hands on that whole 110-page memo the NBA sent on what is being allowed and not allowed. I was trying to get my hands on it, couldn't quite do it, but I saw from many articles the ins and outs of it. Obviously, the first and foremost thing is for the players' safety and the coaches and everyone involved in the NBA. For that, it could be one of the safest places. I don't want to say on the planet, but at least in the United States right now, for trying to prevent the coronavirus from spreading. So in that essence, it's great. For the players, it's going to be tough because of the fact that they're going to be spending, let's say, whoever makes the NBA Finals, they're going to be spending upwards of 3.5 months there. So that is a tough deal. And they're going to be away from their families for the most part until after the first round of the playoffs. The whole design, I would probably have said that maybe 20 teams or maybe just the playoff teams themselves, the 16 would have been best. I don't think I would have gone 22. But as you and I both know, when they say it's not about money, it's about money. And obviously generating that TV income is paramount. And I get that. But I was just talking to Matt Moderno from the Believe in Wizards podcast. And even, you could hear in his voice that, with Bradley Beal sitting out and Davis Bertans sitting out, and even though they still might have a chance to sneak in and get that 8th spot, it's hard for him to go ahead and get 100% behind it. And it's hard for anybody to get behind Phoenix or Washington or even San Antonio, who really do not stand a chance of getting in it because it's just, at this point, they're there almost as fodder for the rest of these teams. And that's a shame. That's a shame.
Yeah, and that's one thing. As a Bulls fan, I was glad we didn't make the cut, to be honest with you. So yeah.
But you might have your own bubble.
Yes, which
in Chicago.
That's going to be interesting. And I'm thinking to myself, it's going to start in September, and it's weird because to me it's almost like, I mean, it's great development for the young guys, but I don't see Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and those guys being in that bubble in Chicago.
I saw Steph Curry. He was interviewed the other day by ESPN playing golf after another round of golf, talking all about golf. And the question did finally get posed to him in regards to playing it. And he immediately directed it towards the young guys development, AKA there's no way in you know what that he's not going to be part of the bubble. And Klay Thompson, Draymond Green,
Nope.
So it loses a lot of that star power.
Right.
But it is, like you said, a great chance for the youth development. And that's the biggest reason why that they're doing it. So all these teams that did make this bubble in Orlando can go ahead and develop those young players, because the players that are over 30 that are already well established in the league, they don't need to go ahead and do this. They just wake them up in December when they finally go ahead and start the new season.
Right.
For these guys that can go, the rookies, the second year players, the third year players, this is a time that, it's only 8 games, 10 games, what have you. It would still be a great opportunity for a lot of these players to develop. And that was one more thing I was talking about with Matt Moderno, is that, Washington really doesn't have a great chance of going far, but there's still, for Rui Hashimura, he was talking about Troy Brown, he was talking about the young players. This is a chance for them to develop their game in a platform that could be very beneficial for their future going forward. And I can't fault the NBA for wanting to do a second bubble. Chicago has a lot of young players that they could go ahead and really develop in that time frame. The only thing is, can you get all these guys healthy and stay healthy for that period of time? Because I think that's been the major drawback I've seen from the Bulls, is that, in fact, I had them as a playoff team this year. I had them sneaking in, and I thought they were going ahead. They were on that route, but injuries keep stopping them. And I'm hoping that if they get healthy, that they can go ahead and, as a team, just try and compete for those spots going forward. And I think the young players in the second bubble could take advantage of that, and that would go a long way for a team like the Bulls.
Yeah, absolutely. So hypothetical, if you're going to the bubble, what are the top 5 things that you bringing to the bubble?
That's a great question. That is an awesome question. I wouldn't go on Instagram like J.R. Smith did. That's the first thing I wouldn't do, and complain, because I'm just going to say this right now. I love JR. Thankful that he's on the team. But after 2 years out of the league, you're right away complaining already. It gives the wrong, at first it's fun that they're going ahead and complaining about the rooms and whatnot. But these are the type of rooms that I've been. I've been to Orlando twice. Those are the type of rooms that I've been when I've stayed there. I can only afford so much. So if I'm going in there, and I would make sure that I would love to bring either one of my consoles or both of my game consoles. That would be awesome. I would probably bring a laptop. I would probably bring, if I'm staying there for 3.5 months, obviously as many pictures of my family as I could, just to try and make it home. I know Patrick Beverley did a great job of making it very homey, as far as the pictures, the stuff that he has, the way he laid it out. It almost feels like an extension of his home there. And I truly, even though he's a Los Angeles Clipper, I commend him for doing that. But yeah, with me, it'd be like a laptop, my game consoles, obviously my headset, so I could go ahead and either broadcast or things of that nature, go ahead and just listen to a lot of great stuff that's out there, or listen to your shows on nonstop while I'm there. But yeah, a couple more things. That's a good question. I would probably say make sure I have enough clothes. And then always the standard, make sure you have enough underwear.
Right.
I can hear my mom saying in the back of my head, make sure you have enough underwear when you get down there. So it's like, so that's probably the best thing. But yeah, making sure I have the electronics. You got to have the electronics.
Absolutely, especially in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Jeff asked a good question. Now, elephant in the room, what do they do when a star tests positive?
Well, I can tell you right now that according to the league, they immediately isolate him. Then they're going to have to do an extensive contact tracing, because who has that player come in contact with within a period of time since they've been in Orlando? So you got to go ahead and retest all those players, staff, and personnel that had access to that player, find out where that player may have caught it from, and also prevent those, or see if those other individuals have been affected by it as well. But you have to put that person into more quarantine. And I'm sorry for that person who goes into quarantine after they just came out of quarantine. But yeah, that's pretty much what's going to happen. So if, let's say, God forbid, LeBron gets coronavirus, he would go in immediate lockdown, and then the NBA would do an investigation on contact tracing on everybody involved, get them all retested, making sure that they're going to go ahead and be safe, or hopefully that they won't contract it as well. But yeah, anybody, I think it's for a period of at least 4 days, and they must have 2 subsequent negative tests to get back out on the floor. But then they also have to go ahead and have extensive health testing to make sure that there's no long-term damage to the lungs or the heart. Because that's what they're thinking now these days, is that, okay, you got over it, but what are the long-term ramifications of you contracting the coronavirus? So that's what they're looking right now as far as the league is concerned. So they now have doctors and cardiologists. They're also, let's say LeBron James gets it, but he tests out after a period of time, let's say 4 or 5 days, he tests out 2 times negative in a row. He still will have to undergo testing to make sure his lung capacity and his heart are at a level that's commensurate with what he can do in the NBA.
Yeah, and that's going to be the tricky aspect of it all when it actually goes down. And like saying, and other players have had different effects. And I think the one who's had the most severe was Spencer Dinwiddie at this point.
Yeah,
where he was talking about like chest tightness, and some days he couldn't get out of bed.
Rudy Gobert still has as far as either taste or smell. One of those
smell.
Okay,
I think he still yeah, and that's been for been about 4 months now, pretty much almost 4 months to the day.
Yeah. Are there extra players in the bubble for replacements? Another great question, Jeff. I know that the Lakers have the two-way players down there. I think they have a contingent of 15 to 17, I think is the number right now, and that includes the inactive players that you would place. Right now for the Lakers, I think that would be Devontae Cacok and Giannis Antetokounmpo's brother, Kostas Antetokounmpo, I think are the two-way players that would probably be inactive. That if, let's say, again, like LeBron's there and he gets sick, you would immediately activate him if everybody else came out negative, because that's the first thing you're going to do is make sure everybody else came out negative. But I think the teams down there have about 15 to 17 players just in case that contingency there. The staff and everybody involved is about 35 to 37 as far as down there. They're trying to control it within a certain amount of people. They don't want to have too many people going down there because that just increases the risk for the virus. But I think the group that you can have there is up to 35 to 37, 15 to 17 of which are players. And the only thing is with it comes to Brooklyn, that's the hard part, is because they've, like you said, with Spencer Dinwiddie, and they've had 6 players, either injury reasons, prevention reasons, or coronavirus reasons. They're not going. You're trying to find all these add-on players like Michael Beasley, Jordan Crawford, and the like. And yeah, you should have about most of these teams, maybe Brooklyn not, maybe they're probably around 14, 15, but most of these teams are going in there with 17 players. That would include the two-way players that you probably will have inactive for most of that time you're playing down there, unless something happens.
Yeah, it's gonna be. That's the one thing where it's gonna be that the tricky part of it all. Once and I guess it's just a matter of once those things happen, then we'll see those effects. So let's talk about the acquisitions of J.R. Smith, and then you had another sneaky one before before everything ended, and Dion Waiters. So your thoughts on those 2 acquisitions?
Well, the J.R. Smith one, it was so funny because both of them were auditioning for the Lakers at the same time, and the Lakers chose to go with Dion over JR. That to me was the first thing. But I'm going to be honest with you, and this is what most people are saying, that if there's anybody out there that's going to play best with LeBron of the 2, it's going to be JR. Yeah, he's played with both, but JR is a better fit as a spot-up shooter if he's playing like the way we think JR could play. We don't know. He's 34. You don't know. He hasn't played in the league for almost 2 years, so you don't really know how good he will be or how much he has left in the tank. I'm sure we'll find out if he gets any minutes at all on this Laker team. Dion Waiters, though, could be someone that could be very beneficial for the team because he did play 2-3 games this year for Miami. Obviously, he had the incident with the gummy bears that we really don't want to go too much into, but don't get gummy bears near Dion Waiters. I will say that he is probably someone that could be very beneficial when LeBron goes to the bench because he's a playmaker. He makes things happen. He can handle the ball. He can dish it out. He can do a lot of things that LeBron does, not at the level LeBron does, but he can do some things for you within a 10 to 15 minute span that could really help the Lakers coming off the bench. It all depends with JR. Who are you getting at this point? Are you getting an over-the-hill shot player that won't be able to hit a shot for you? Or can you get a guy that's going to, in 10, 15 minutes, go ahead and get you 2-3 three-pointers and play acceptable enough defense that's going to go ahead and win you some ball games? So we'll wait and see. But my money right now, I think, is going to be on Dion Waiters just because I have not seen J.R. Smith in so long.
Yeah. Yeah, and I agree with you on that one. And it's interesting how, because I always thought that was a real issue in Cleveland with LeBron, where he didn't have nobody coming off that bench to help him. And then I always figured like Avery Bradley was going to be that guy that was going to be kind of the guy they really need. And of course, him not coming and then bringing in JR. So that's going to be the intrigue, like you said. And it could be, could JR be the 2016 JR who stepped up in Game 7 and the NBA Finals, and is he still great defensively? Could he be a guy who you could depend on? Hypothetically, if you guys played like the Clippers, could he defend like a guy like a Lou Williams? Could he stop him getting? Because we all know his death taxes and Lou Williams getting 20 off the bench.
Yeah.
So
and driving to the left.
Correct. So that's going to be a very intriguing when that as far as what that is concerned. So
Absolutely. Williams plays so great with Montrezl Harrell. Harrell. I mean, those two have a great give and go game. I'm not a pick and roll game, so that's really something that's going to be a challenge for the Lakers, like you were saying. And it is going to be interesting to see if there's anything left from JR, from also as well Dion Waiters and Markieff Morris. He did not play well, but he was still getting acclimated to the team when the coronavirus happened. So I'm going to give him a little bit of slack. But if he can shoot like he did in Detroit earlier this year, in those games he did play, that could be a big bonus for the Lakers, because then you can go small if other teams are going small to match up with them, and he could be either your 4 or your 5 that can hit from the outside. And that would be something that LeBron and AD could definitely use.
Absolutely. So, is this LeBron's last chance of winning a title?
I don't want to say it's the last chance of him winning that title, but going into next year, even though he keeps himself in such phenomenal shape, he is 35 plus. He is 17 years in the league. This could be his last run at the top. I mean, we don't know what's going to happen next year. I mean, we could say, LeBron, AD, they run it back. They're going to be the favorites, yada, yada, yada. But you never know. You don't take it for granted. I mean, even when Golden State was winning year in, year out, there was always that chance like they would have a year like they did this year, because injuries can happen and coronavirus can still happen, and it can all go south from there. So I'm treating it right now as this could be LeBron's last opportunity for him to excel at that level, because next year he may not be at that MVP-like level, and AD will have to go ahead and be at that level. It will have to go from LeBron being the 1 and AD being the 1A. Very well next year, in order for the Lakers to succeed, LeBron will become the 1A and AD will become the 1. But then the Lakers might need a little bit more support behind it, and that's another equation with a limited salary cap that you're going to have to do a dance there. If you're Rob Pelinka, the GM of the Lakers, yeah, that's going to be tough. So right now, I am treating this as, just your window is now. Do it now. This has been a wacky season, not only for the league, but especially for the Lakers, with everything, all the ups and downs, the passing of Kobe, the controversy with the PPP and the team, and the way they did they went after the small business loans when there are other more deserving small business loans. So that wasn't a good look for the team. And there's been so many ups and downs, the highs of how well they're doing in the Western Conference, the lows of what happened in China and all that, and the comments made by Daryl Morey and all that. It's been an up and down season for the league, but it's really been for the Lakers, and I'm hoping it ends up, and hoping they treat it like this will be the last stand for them.
Yeah, absolutely. So you guys are sitting pretty well in the number one spot in the West, and hopefully the hold till. So, who is your ideal first round matchup?
Well, that's an excellent question. Again, I don't want to play Dame Lillard 4 times. I'm sorry. So Portland, I think, who is my pick for the 8th spot, who I think will sneak in there, because I never count out Dame Lillard. But my of the matchup, let's say if any of those teams in the tied for 9th spot, meaning Sacramento, meaning Portland, meaning New Orleans, or even Memphis, of those 4 teams, I would love to play Sacramento as far as the best first-round matchups, or the easiest first-round matchup. That's the team I would like to see the most, because the Lakers haven't been able to find an answer for Jean Morant yet when they played him, because he is such a gifted rookie and rookie of the year. Sorry, Zion, just not enough games for you. And, of course, New Orleans, they've got a lot of talent on that team. They haven't put it all together yet, but Zion's there. He may be that meshing force, so I don't exactly I know the league wants to see Zion versus LeBron. You and I both know that.
Yeah.
But I don't really want to see it from a competitive standpoint, because they could prove to be pesky. Of the teams, I'd probably say Sacramento or even San Antonio, because if San Antonio somehow jumps over not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4 teams, I couldn't see them going very far with against the Lakers, especially with LaMarcus Aldridge out.
Yeah. And that'd be interesting too, because you look at the other storylines. Now you're thinking Luke comes back and a potential Luke's revenge, potentially. I mean, the storyline could be that way.
That could be that way, but I know for the league, for the league, it won't be as attractive as a Zion versus LeBron. But Luke come back. I was sad to see him go. I'm a big Luke Walton fan, but I understand that there was. It's LeBron's team, and if LeBron doesn't exactly like 100% of the things that you're doing, aka David Blatt, who I also thought was doing a great. Okay, get this. Remember when David Blatt was fired? What was the team's record? And
they were like 43-9, because remember Ty Lue was the coach of the All-Star team, because they had the best record in the East.
That's correct, and they were on like a 10 to 12 game winning streak.
Right,
and he was fired. So I don't know if David Blatt's a good coach or not. I mean, you hear from Europe that he's been a good coach, but I don't think he was given the opportunity. But that he wasn't or that he should have been in Cleveland. But again, it's all about what LeBron wants, and LeBron doesn't like you. LeBron's going to see you go, and I don't think he and Luke ever meshed well. So you're right; it would be a good revenge matchup. Not the matchup I think the NBA wants to see, but it's still for us as Lakers fans out there. I think we'd love the intrigue of it. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah. Of course, it's not the sexiest headline, but it'll do. I mean, it would suffice if that does happen, and all. If that does happen.
I would say I wouldn't put it past them. Sacramento, De'Aaron Fox, Marvin Bagley Jr. There's some good team. There's some good players on that team. Buddy Hield coming off the bench now. They're all healthy, so they could go ahead and really make a run for it. I think you should not underestimate it. They don't have the kind of veteran leadership outside of Harrison Barnes that you maybe should need on that team, but they're a young group that may not. They may throw caution to the wind and just say, you know what, we're going to go ahead and take advantage of it. I wouldn't be 100% surprised if they made that spot, but that's a lot of ground to make up. And again, you're not competing against just Memphis. You're competing against Memphis and Portland and New Orleans. And if San Antonio decides to go ahead and put its full weight into it, San Antonio as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So which teams in the West do you see a threat to you guys?
Oh my gosh. I'm a little bit more cautious as far as some people say, oh, it's just the Clippers. And just they leave it at that. Clippers are deep. Clippers have PG and Kawhi. Excellent team. And yes, they have been treated as the stepchild forever. Most of it because of it's well deserved because the organization's been so lapsed. But you know what? In this past decade, who has done better record-wise since the Lakers' last championship? It's been the Clippers have had a better record. So, you can't sell them short now because they finally have a organization with Steve Ballmer, and they already have now a foundation to go off of. So they're going in a manner now that you cannot underestimate them any longer. So I definitely don't underestimate the Clippers. And I know a lot of people that I've had on my show are not underestimating them as well. They've been a hot pick on many of my episodes already for some of my guests. And that's their choice. And I respect that because they are a good team if they stay healthy and they don't have, I know I don't know in this 8-game period how many games Kawhi and PG will be sitting out. That's obviously something that they'd like to do over the season. They may continue that, but in the playoffs, I'm definitely not going to sell them short. Houston, if it finds the small ball concept in the right way, if they play like they did when they first got Robert Covington together and play like they did there, although the last few games before the coronavirus, they were on a losing streak. So you don't know which team you're going to get, but if they're hitting their threes, they can beat anybody. And I mean anybody if they're hitting their threes. And that means the Lakers, the Bucks, the Clippers, anybody. So it's not going to be a fun time when you match up against them. I'm not sold on Dallas yet because even though Luka's great and Kristaps Porzingis is very good, I just don't think they have enough as a full-fledged 1 to 10-man roster yet to go ahead and compete at that high of a level. They may sneak into the second round, but I don't see them getting as far as that. I guess the only other team that I really would be scared of would be Denver. And that's because Denver has quality players up and down the roster. The only thing is, is Jokic and Murray, are they good enough to go ahead and step it up even more, almost like they did last year? But can they step it up even further to beat the Lakers or the Clippers and or both?
Yeah. Yeah, because you think about it, they were close. They were very close last year. And like you said, the experience factor played a big factor in that. And then now you're getting a slim and trim Jokic, which we don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
He might have lost too much weight and lost some of his strength, which was one of his attributes.
Right.
But then again, his conditioning has always been something that a lot of people talk about. In fact, you remember that, 5-6 overtime game that they played?
Oh, yeah.
He was exhausted, and he missed that free throw because you saw him literally just almost ready to collapse when he was at the free throw line, and he made only one of two. And that was the difference in the game. And I think that had he been in a little bit better condition, he maybe would have been able to go ahead. And although, when you're playing 70 minutes, who's going to be in that type of condition? But I just think that I would have to wait and see because he has lost a tremendous amount of weight. Everybody's talking about skinny Jokic right now. I'm hoping that will be a benefit for him, for his health long term, but I'm not sure it's going to be the same type of Jokic you're going to be putting out there because he used his body so well from the defensive and offensive standpoint as far as positioning and things of that nature because, as you know, he's one of the best passing individuals in the game, regardless of position. And the way he could position someone, back someone down, and go ahead and find somebody was one of his best attributes. And that he might not have as much now because he's not going to have the strength to do it. or not going to have the strength he once had to do it. So I'm waiting to see. But again, it could be working his favor because he could have more conditioning to run up and down the floor a lot more than he once did.
Absolutely. It's got another question from my guy Jeff. So, as of now, do you consider LeBron a true Laker, or is he just stopping by like Malone and Peyton?
Oh my gosh, that's a debate. You see it on all the Lakers forums out there. Oh, he's not a true Laker, la 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 la. And then they start winning, and some people are now coming off the fence, and they're now supporting LeBron. I'm just glad he's a Laker. And do I consider him a true Laker? Hey, you are a true Laker when you put on that jersey.
Yeah.
To me. Okay, you're a Laker. You sign that contract, you go ahead and start playing the games, and you just put on that jersey. To me, you're a Laker. When he retires and he goes into the Hall of Fame, is he going to go ahead and have that Lakers jersey there as his main one? No, we all know it's going to be the Cavs, and that's fine. That was where he spent most of the time. But if he goes ahead and wins us a championship and ties us with the Boston Celtics for 17 all time, and I know a lot of people will be coming off the fence even more, and LeBron's the greatest, he's a Laker, yada, yada. I always think that once you put on a Laker for me for that period of time, you are a true Laker, and I'm just thankful that he's on the team. I'm just so glad we're in the position that we're in. I'm so thankful because we've had 7 years of misery and people laughing at us as an organization, while our organization, the Lakers, has done everything, as you know, with the Bulls, and how well or not so well that they've handled things recently. The Lakers for many years had not handled things very well. So I'm just thankful to be in this position. And to make a long story short, Jeff, you've been asking some great questions. You know what? He might have not. He's not ring chasing like Malone and Peyton did. But even if Malone and Peyton, had won that title, if things have been turned better and Malone would have been healthy and Shaq and Kobe would have not tried to kill each other, and they would have won Detroit, they would have been a Laker for me. At least temporary or not, they still would have been Laker for that period of time. But I do consider him a true Laker right now. He's been there for 2 years. He's going to be there most likely for 2 more. He won't end his career with the Lakers probably unless his son gets drafted. That's the thing. If Bronny gets drafted by the Lakers, then he's going to stay on the Lakers. But if Bronny gets drafted by, I don't know, by Chicago Bulls, then guess where he's going for the final year of his. That's what I'm going to say right now. Yes, he's a Laker for now, and obviously it's been beneficial for him because he's done so much. Right now, he's focused. He wants to play. He wants to go ahead and win one for the team. He's saying all the right things, and you can see it the way he's out there on the floor. He's determined to do it. But also from a business aspect, this has been a great thing for him because you see the production deals he signed. I know everybody out there, when they go check Variety or Hollywood Reporter, they see the mega deals that he signed. So he has a great business savvy, I should say. And he really knows how to go ahead and market himself and what he's doing and what he wants to accomplish. So this has been a big win for him. Even if the Lakers don't end up winning a championship, which I hope that they do, this has been a big win for him and a big win for the team because it's put them back in the light in the spotlight once again, and not just an afterthought like they were for the past 7 years. So, yeah, I think like you said, Jeff, he's all in, and I'm happy to see it. Yes, part of it's because he's here for Hollywood and all that, but that's great for him, great for his name, great for his brand, but it's also been great for the Lakers as well.
Absolutely. So, what teams in the East do you see as a threat to the Lakers if you guys do make it to the NBA Finals?
Well, if they do make it to the NBA Finals, right now I'm going with Milwaukee just because the de facto you have Giannis Antetokounmpo. He's going to be so hard for us to match up. If Philadelphia ever gets its act together, and as you know, in the playoffs, it does slow down. It does become more defensive minded. And they could throw a defensive wall out there on Giannis Antetokounmpo with big guy after big guy after big guy on him and be successful. And if Milwaukee's not hitting the threes, they could make some noise. But then again, they all have to get on the same page, and that's been hard for them all season. So I don't know about that. Nick Nurse, great coach. We're seeing it right now with how well Toronto's played without Kawhi. So got to give them props. They could have a say in all this. You hear the stories about how well Miami's doing, and you have Jimmy Butler doing so well. But Boston, as much as the Lakers fans, I hate to say this, Boston, if Jason Tatum plays at that superstar level like he was earlier this season, they could find a way to sneak in. They could definitely find a way to sneak into this thing. And to me, this is a platform. It's due to a very unfortunate circumstances, but to me, it's a platform where the best team will win because everybody's on the same page. Everybody's on the same platform. There's nobody getting like a home court advantage, a home crowd advantage, or they're on the road or anything like that. Everybody's the road team. Everybody's the home team. I don't even know why the NBA lists out home and road team. It's kind of ridiculous since they're all just under one of them. But they're all undergoing the same thing and the same conditions. And you know what? Whoever wins this championship not only should not get an asterisk, but as Doc Rivers said, they should get a gold star because this is something that has never been done before, never gone through before, and it will prove to me that the best NBA team will win the season.
Yeah. And another thing too, and I think what's another good thing too, where you eliminate the home field advantage in a sense, the teams who are in an underdog seat, essentially like, look, we had nothing to play for. I mean, you got everything to play for. Everybody counting us out. So that's another thing where I think the series are going to be a lot closer, where I don't think you're going to see a lot of sweeps as you would normally would see in the and you can see
surprises because there's no home court advantage to take a team psychologically out of a game.
Right.
And so you could see a point where, okay, a team gets down by 15, but comes back because they don't have that edge or they'll feel like that they have that momentum to fight against. So that could be something there as well. You could see some surprises. You could see, I'm not going to say you're going to see like a Denver 1-8 matchup where Mutombo is holding the ball up over his head like he did when they were 8th seed and then he won.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree with you, Jeff. This is one of the toughest playoffs ever. And it's going to be the best team. But I think you will see one or two surprises as far as matchups, as far as who wins.
Yeah. Then also got this one here.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you. Appreciate it, Jeff. That's for our Pop Culture Cosmos show. Thank you so much. You've had Josh from Cinematic Blind Spots was a great guest, and thank you so much for listening to it. And I just a lot of shows that I do, but I'm just so thankful for anybody who listens to any one of them, whether it's the Pop Culture Cosmos, Lakers Fast Break, or Inside Sports Fantasy Football. I truly appreciate you taking the time to listen to it. And Josh, I hope to get him on real soon as well.
Absolutely. So, where can they find you on social media?
Oh my gosh, social media out there. At least J.R. Smith does. That was so funny.
Absolutely.
That's when he was on the other day and he was talking about his room, and he had, I guess, somebody from the NBA watching and telling him to get off of Instagram. That was too funny. But you can find me at Pop Culture Cosmo or at Lakers Fast Break on Twitter. You want to go ahead and get a hold of me there. By all means, I'll go ahead and answer any questions or hear your opinions. Or if you want to come on the show, I would love to have you on, whether it's talking NBA or pop culture. Love to have anyone on the show that wants to go ahead and share their thoughts. I'm hoping to get you on at any point in time.
Yeah.
I told you off.
We're going to work on that. Most definitely.
Just DM me. We get you on. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. But at Pop Culture Cosmos, at Pop Culture Cosmo, at Lakers Fast Break, or you could just email me at LakersFastBreak@yahoo.com or PopCultureCosmos@yahoo.com as well. And I thank everybody who goes ahead and listens to us once again.
Absolutely. And definitely appreciate you for coming on today and previewing the Lakers.
I love it. I just talking basketball. It's just so fun. It's right around the corner, my friend. Right around the corner.
Yes, I cannot wait. And I'm hoping that they're going to televise these scrimmages, which will be a week away from it. So
I think they will.
I saw
the Lakers channel, Spectrum Sportsnet,
Yeah.
saying that they will televise their games. So
yeah.
I'm assuming that NBA TV is going to be televising these scrimmages. I don't think it's going to be on ESPN, maybe because ESPN hasn't advertised yet, but I would assume at the very least, for NBA fans out there, it's going to be at NBA TV.
Yeah, because we need it. We definitely need hoops in our lives.
Oh, you and I both. You and I both.
Ah, my goodness. But yeah, man, definitely appreciate you for coming on this week's Sunday Sit Down, and appreciate it. And I'm definitely looking forward to the invite, and I should definitely be on the podcast very, very soon.
Well, the red carpet is right out there for you. I'll put it in Chicago Bulls red right out there for you. You just got to tell me, hey, Gerald, I want to come on the show.
Yes.
We'll do it. We'll book it. Yeah,
perfect.
Because right now on social media, that's all you have to do. For me, that's all I care. If you want to come on the show, if you take the time out of your day to speak to me, you know what? I'm honored. Yep. I'm blessed, and I will go ahead and get you on.
Yes, indeed. So this has been this week's Sunday Sit Down and NBA bubble preview as well for the Lakers, and we'll catch you guys in the next go round.